For decades, the African safari industry has leaned heavily into mass tourism, highly engineered lodges, bumper-to-bumper jeep convoys. Zambia is actively resisting that model, offering a raw, unfiltered wilderness instead. This line graph plots Zambia's international tourist arrivals from 2021 to 2024. In just 3 years, the volume climbed from roughly 500,000 to nearly 2.2 million visitors, capping off with a 35% spike in the final year alone. That sudden influx was deliberate. The government eliminated visa requirements for 167 countries and opened up new direct flight routes, like the recent connection from Cape Town straight to Livingston. Those millions of arrivals generate serious capital, which Zambia is funneling directly into conservation. They're securing World Bank eco-funding and actively reintroducing endangered species, like these white rhinos, back into the national parks. Because Zambia lacks a one-size-fits-all model, the value of the trip shifts based on how well your goals align with the specific season and format you choose. A Zambian safari is not a monolithic product. You're entering an environment defined by extreme dualities, and those extremes dictate your entire experience on the ground. Before booking, you have to navigate 3 primary trade-offs: the dry versus green seasons, jeep drives versus tracking on foot, and high versus low water levels. To figure out which path makes sense, we can look through the lens of 3 specific traveler profiles: the first-time sightseer, the eco-purist, and the adrenaline optimizer. Match the wrong profile to the wrong season, and you are guaranteeing a bad trip. You'll end up staring at dispersed wildlife through thick brush, enduring severe heat, or facing total physical exhaustion. Decoding this matrix and understanding exactly what each trade-off requires of you is the only way to ensure your money is well spent. Let's look at the first variable. The dry season, running from June to October, is the premium window for traditional safari goers. By September, the landscape is heavily parched. With vegetation gone and rivers shrinking, animals are forced to congregate tightly around the few remaining isolated pools of water, giving you extreme, unobstructed visibility. The trade-off for that visibility is steep. You will pay peak premium pricing, you will share the parks with the highest crowds of the year, and you will endure intense heat. Then there is the green season, from November to May, often called Africa's secret season. This brings rains that transform the savanna into a lush environment full of migratory birds and new wildlife. The rain washes the dust from the air, creating optimal lighting for photography, and the camps drop their rates significantly. But because the rivers are full and the vegetation is thick, the wildlife is widely dispersed and significantly harder to track. Your choice of season dictates the entire baseline of the trip. You are either trading your budget for maximum visibility, or you are trading that easy visibility for lower costs and better aesthetics. The second variable is how you navigate the terrain. The traditional 4x4 game drive is easily the most efficient way to safely cover massive expanses of land, like the 5.5 million acres of Kafue National Park. But Jeeps are inherently disruptive. The engine noise, the exhaust, and the sheer size of the vehicle alter natural animal behaviors the moment you arrive. Zambia's alternative is the walking safari. Pioneered in the Luanga Valley by conservationist Norman Carr, this format strips away the vehicle entirely to create a zero-carbon tracking experience. Walking requires you to step into the ecosystem unprotected. You are tracking micro-ecosystems on foot, feeling the physical exposure and vulnerability of navigating the bush alongside armed guides. This format demands high physical stamina. It also yields far fewer rapid-fire Big Five sightings than you would get by speeding from location to location in a truck. You have to choose what matters more: the mechanical efficiency of checking animals off a list, or the physical authenticity of true ecological immersion. The third variable centers on the Zambezi River and Victoria Falls, a region known globally for high-stakes adventure. The ultimate draw here is the full Grade 5 whitewater rafting run, which starts right at the boiling pot below the falls. But this is strictly dependent on the low water season, from August to December, when the rapids are violent but manageable. From January to July, the river levels rise dramatically. The floodwaters submerge those initial rapids, forcing operators to move the starting line downstream. For thrill seekers, timing is a hard constraint. Miss that specific low water window, and you dilute the entire adrenaline experience. We also have to acknowledge the macroeconomic reality. Zambia relies heavily on the revenue from these trips to support local communities and preserve its cultural heritage. But because it is a developing ecotourism hub, you will face real-world infrastructure limitations that you won't find in heavily engineered resort towns. Regional power outages frequently impact basic lodge conveniences. At the same time, severe seasonal droughts routinely put heavy stress on the local wildlife populations. True ecotourism requires a high tolerance for unpredictability. You cannot demand raw authenticity without accepting the actual infrastructure realities of the region. This flowchart maps our traveler profiles to their optimal itinerary. First-timers need the dry season Jeep Safari via Cape Town for Big 5 visibility. Eco-purists should book South Luangwa's Green Season Walking Safari. Adrenaline optimizers must arrive between August and December for low-water rafting. Sticking to the distinct routing path that fits your profile is the only way to guarantee the highest return on your investment of time and capital. Even highly niche pursuits here require precise, localized timing, like the annual catch-and-release tigerfish tournament in October. Zambia offers a scale and an authenticity that is increasingly hard to find, provided you are willing to put in the physical and logistical effort to access it. Zambia rewards those who synchronize their goals with its rigid seasonal cycles. Arriving prepared unlocks an unfiltered wilderness, while misalignment usually means missing the specific sites you traveled across the world to find.